It's round 3, and tonight 9 drivers will make their push for next week's finals. I'm your host, 905.
And I'm Indy Rain. The racing has been fantastic, and these drivers really stepped up their game in order to advance from round 2.
That's an understatement, Indy. Seeing only 2 drivers from the first 3 groups survive the cut.
Well, last week we said goodbye to half the field, and tonight another 6 drivers will be going home empty-handed.
Speaking of which, we're in front of the first group right now, so let's remind you of who they are. This van showed up a long time ago, and this whole tournament is because it did. Road Rage and his Disco Unlimited is your first driver of tonight. This driver had an unbelievable round 2, and it positioned him perfectly to go up against the big boys in round 3. It's Variat from Variat Skunkworks. The third driver tonight is a relative newcomer to the trail, but he's shown and proven that he deserves every last bit of recognition. It's Iceman from Iceman Racing. Road Rage and Variat come into tonight's round tied on points. It's Iceman that's the wild card. Let's go up to the top of the trail for race 1 of round 3. And Variat's the first to strike and storm the gates. It's a fairly even start, but Variat gets a nice kick out of that second whoop and it's first to the jump. Road Rage then explodes at the jump and he's up and over, and all he is seeing is snow. Iceman takes a bad line and gets his nose into the guardrail and he's up and done, and it's Variat who has a beautiful line cross for 11 points.
Variat keeps the momentum going as he picks up where he left off from round 2. Iceman and Road Rage better focus if they want to make next week's finals.
Mr. Rage, I'm gonna have to get my sunglasses on before I flip you over. That thing is shiny.
And it looks like it's Iceman's turn to pull down 11 points. Again, it's a fairly even race to the jump, as you see all 3 drivers bunched together in the middle of the course, but Iceman gives a little tap into Road Rage, and he gets into Variat that puts them both into the guardrail right at the jump. That little turn in by Road Rage was enough to get his car free and across the line for 11 points. It's those little interactions that are definitely going to expose who's got the control and who doesn't.
These guys definitely came to race today, and with that 11 points by Iceman, that pulls him into a tie with Variat. Road Rage, on the other hand, is lagging behind with 11.
Mr. Rage, I appreciate your effort at scrubbing your shiny. Give me 2 seconds and I'll have you flipped over.
And look at that, race 3 didn't disappoint either. And it's another fairly even start as soon as the gate drops, but then it's Iceman who gets into the back of Variat, and that puts them up and over at the jump, allowing Road Rage to get a free run at the bottom half of the course. Road Rage makes no mistake getting his rig across the line for 11 points. And it looks like that outside lane has been the lucky line for everybody in Group 1 tonight.
Road Rage makes good on his outside line just like Variat and Iceman did. And would you look at the scores? Everybody's tied on 22.
Alright guys, let's get you flipped over and back to the shop. 2 more groups to go tonight, so it's gonna be nervous, but we got moose burgers and hot chocolate waiting for you.
Coming into tonight, the top 9 weren't separated by all that much. However, Road Rage and Variat were tied on 52 points. Iceman, on the other hand, needed something special because he only had 44 points. With everybody scoring 22 in this first group, Variat and Road Rage are tied now for the top spot with 74, while Iceman has 66. And with only 3 drivers moving on to next week's finals, we'll see whether or not either one of those guys can hold on to their top spot. Wow, Group 1 was a tight checking group. Wait a second. Group 2 looks strange.
What do you mean?
Didn't these 3 race each other in the last round?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the same trio from round 2.
Huh. I think you're right. Funny how that worked out, eh?
I bet somebody's gonna say something about this, you know.
Maybe. But in case you forgot, these are the drivers up next in Group 2. Stray Dog squeaked into round 3 with 41 points. He's one of 2 remaining Baja breakers, and does he have enough to break into the top 3? The next driver's been up at the top of the leaderboard since day 1. It's Mark D and his Fandango. He's sitting on 55 points, and he's looking to hold on to his top billing. The third driver in Group 2 is sitting on 44 points, and he's always looking for a good story. Marcus Firegon comes in the second of 2 transits in the finals. And even though this might be a rehash of the last round, each one of these drivers knows what it takes to put points on the board. Let's go up to the top of the trail for race 1 of Group 2. And it looks like Stray Dog has pulled out all the stops in his first race of Group 2. Marcus gets the break on the other 2 drivers and hits the jump first. But it looks like he gets ever so lovely tapped by his Stray Dog, and that spins him out, allowing Stray Dog a nice free run at the bottom half of the course. It wasn't by any means easy for Stray Dog, as you can see him wrestle with his van to get it under control, and he bounces his Baja breaker and just avoids another hit by Marcus Firegon, who looks like he's definitely aiming for Stray Dog's back quarter to put him off his game and prevent him from collecting 11 points. It doesn't work for Marcus though, but he collects 7 for his troubles, whereas Mark D only collects 4.
It's the dream start for Stray Dog as he puts 11 points on the board, whereas Mark D uncharacteristically bobbles and only collects 4 points.
I'm sorry, Mr. D, but the judges say you only collected the 4 points because your tire didn't hit the black line.
Ooh, something must have carried over from either this last round or race 1, as Stray Dog and Marcus Firegon get into it, and they both put themselves out just after the 2 line. With those 2 drivers playing shenanigans, Mark D gets a free run at the second half of the course, and he makes no mistake in putting it away for 11 points. Although, he did get caught up on that hockey net, which almost stymied him from collecting those crucial extra points. Where that's more like it for Mark D, Marcus Firegon and Stray Dog, what are you guys doing?
The time for bickering and squabbling like little children was last round. This round, you guys are trying to make the finals. Let's go, guys.
Mr. D, I don't know if you guys got hockey in Australia, but we need our net back.
Holy
I can't believe what I just watched. That was amazing.
Mark D just pulled off another first I've never seen here at the trail. Him and Marcus are banging door to door down to the jump before Mark D pulls slightly ahead, and that's when Marcus Firegon decides to fire on all cylinders and flips him. Mark D does a full barrel roll, pulls it back under control before getting himself into the berm, pulling another barrel roll, and then getting across the line onto the pond. Actually, I don't even know if he made the line. We gotta go into the overhead in slow-mo to see whether or not he actually pulled it off. And we're gonna zoom in here, and it just looks like he's short. That was amazing either way. He actually pulled off a double barrel roll in one race. How that's even possible is just, that's some Australian voodoo magic right there.
Mark D is a one-man highlight machine. Whether he's driving on his roof or 2 wheels or no wheels or whatever, he is amazing.
Mr. D, how many times did you practice that in order to make it work during a race?
Mark D came into tonight with the top spot. Did he defend that in going into round 3? He does add another 24 points to his score, but we still have one of the best drivers coming up in end count. Marcus Firegon and Stray Dog, unfortunately, your racing is done.
Can you believe what we just witnessed?
Honestly, that was one of the wildest finishes we've ever seen here. But highlights don't equate to putting points on the board.
Indy, you are absolutely correct. And this last group know what they will need in order to advance to the finals.
There is an advantage to going last.
Yeah, as long as you don't let the nerves get to you.
Nerves aside, here's the drivers that are looking to stamp their ticket into next week's finals.
The first of the last three drivers is Brocan. He comes into tonight with 44 points, and he's going to need a damn near perfect run in order to make the finals. The second driver is Sneaky Bob. He comes into tonight with 46 points, and he's going to have to score at least 29. Finally, there's N-Count. His dominance of this series has been since race 1. All he needs is 20 in order to secure his spot next week. I think the big takeaway right here in this group is that every single driver still has a shot at making the finals. Nobody is out of it. Let's go up to the top of the trail for race 1 and put it all on the line. Of course, N-Count pulls in for a big time 11 points. His path to the finals just got that much easier. However, let me direct your attention to the right side of the screen here as Brocan and Sneaky Bob get into it and battle the entirety of the upper half and part of the second half of the course. Brocan wants this, but unfortunately I think he's just squandered his shot at next week.
Brocan and Sneaky Bob need to focus on getting their rigs across the line. N-Count, well, he knows what to do, and he's doing it.
If there wasn't enough pressure already, we got the other 6 drivers waiting down here to watch your race too.
Well, that was definitely not what these guys had intended. The gate drops and Sneaky Bob immediately drives into the side of N-Count, and that drives them both into the side of Brocan. The tactics that were just on display here have definitely scrubbed any sort of hope Brocan or Sneaky Bob had for making next week's finals. The driver to watch now is N-Count.
With race 2 scores added to race 1, mathematically Brocan and Sneaky Bob have been eliminated. N-Count needs to refocus and have a clean race.
Mr. N-Count, there's one more race to go. I have faith in you, buddy. You can do it.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest, but N-Count gets the job done. Sneaky Bob looks like he takes a couple of pot shots at N-Count before getting tangled up with Brocan again at the jump. Looks like N-Count decided to hang back and watch Sneaky Bob and Brocan take themselves out, giving him some breathing room to get across the line, of which he almost doesn't. Sneaky Bob then sneaks himself across the line as well. You can see in the overhead that N-Count gets caught up in that hockey net, and then Sneaky Bob takes his shot at it as well. They both get across the line, so they both take home maximum points, while Brocan, he's got to settle for the close-up at the end.
And if there was any doubt that N-Count wasn't going to make the finals, it all got dashed in that last race. He takes home 11 points and guarantees his spot in next week's final.
Well done, fellas. You definitely put on a show for these guys here at the finish line. N-Count, we'll see you next week.
Coming into the final race, we said that each one of these drivers had a chance at making the finals next week. Sneaky Bob and Brocan needed to be damn near perfect, where N-Count had the best opportunity, and he didn't squander it one bit. He drives home with 81 points and the tournament lead going into the finals. Sneaky Bob ends up tying Iceman with 66 points, and Brocan, he'll end up in 9th place with 60. And with all the scores tallied up, we can now... Oh no. 905, we have a problem. You jinxed it again, didn't you?
I didn't do anything. I just said.
Yeah. You just said. Anyways, we've been here before, and that means we've got a final with 4 instead of 3.
How is it always my fault when something doesn't go to plan?
Well, all I know is it's going to be an awfully crowded track for next week's finals.
That just means that these guys are going to have to do everything they can to outscore the other drivers.
Ultimately, that's true. So, who's it going to be? Road Rage from Road Rage Racing and his Disco Unlimited? Variat from Variat Skunkworks and his Power Panel? What about Mark D from Cut Rocker and his Highlight Reel Fandango? Or the driver who has been the most solid this whole tournament in his Electric Ninja, it's N-Count from Chase Family Racing.
Next week, one of these drivers will be the last van standing. We just need to adjust how many laps we run from 6 to 8.
Can we do that?
We kind of have to. It's called adapting to the situation.
I guess we're kind of good at doing that around here.
Ain't that the truth? Join us next time as we conclude the Van Odyssey with 8 laps of awesome. I've been your host, 905.
And I'm Indy Rain. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
So, Walter, who do you think's gonna win? Dude, really?
Why not?
I suppose.
You really gonna argue with the mammoth?
Not after last time. I won't do that again.